The Eastern Conference Finals is tied at a game apiece as the Bucks beat the Hawks 125-91 in Milwaukee. Giannis led the way with 25, 9, and 6, and the series shifts back to Atlanta for Sunday night's Game 3 on TNT. Welcome back into our NBA TV studios. This is Playoff Central Live, presented by AT&T 5G. Here with Isaiah Thomas, Steve Smith will be with you for all of the post-game coverage, the coach and player press conferences, as, of course, we'll be looking back at Game 2 and ahead to Game 3. Let's start with what we saw from Giannis, because he was undoubtedly the difference maker.
I saw Giannis do what they wouldn't let Trae Young do.
Yeah.
Get to the middle, get to the paint, dominate in the middle, dominate close to the basket, and he did it from the start of the game. And then he got a little bored and he was like, let me try my three a little bit. But for the most part, he was in the paint, downhill, coming at you, not settling, 2 feet in the paint, putting it on the floor, and you know that's where he's dangerous at.
Just a dominant performance, Smitty, as I look up and down the box score, dominated in nearly every statistical category.
Yeah, he did, and the Bucks did, and I like what Giannis did. It was not a lot of wasted movement. It was downhill. I'm going to spin. I'm going to get to the rim. But I thought also, I looked at the Milwaukee Bucks. Drew Holiday set the tone for me, Isaiah, on the point, guarding Trae Young. Not just because he shut down Trae Young, but when you get up and want to play like 84 feet, close to 94 feet, that's just setting the tone from everybody behind you. I had Mookie Blaylock used to do that. I'm like, well, I can't let the ball go to the wing if he's going to pressure up. So that gets everybody going. And I thought Drew set the tone today defensively for the entire team.
And then added 22 offensively as well. Isaiah, I want to ask you about what you mentioned. They limited Trae Young. They limited his options. Break down what you saw as far as their team's defensive scheme against him in this one.
As we said, when you allow a point guard to play in the middle of the floor, we talk about elbows and boxes. And basically, the last game, Trae was able to stay in the middle of the floor. What we see here now is that you see all the defenders are up. Okay, there's no room. He comes off the screen, there's no room. He can't get into the middle of the floor. He can't get to the paint. Now they bring Lopez up in the middle of the floor. They kept him on the side of the floor. As you see now, he's taking the angles and he got to go to the side of the floor. He is outside of the elbows. And those forced turnovers, those big arms, long arms, trust me, I know you don't want to be on the side of the floor when a big guy like Lopez or Mikal and them are smothering you, because the sideline is also a defender too. So those big guys can get up on you, take away your space, and that's why we little guys, we like to stay in the middle, because you know when you get on the sideline, now they can pressure you with that outside defender in terms of the sideline, push you down to the baseline. The baseline is another defender. So that's what they were able to do to Trae, and that's how they were effective, and consequently they got 9 turnovers.
So typically the three of us will have a quick conversation either during commercial breaks or right before we come on the air, and we'll talk about what we're about to talk about to all of you. And when I asked you, Smitty, what you wanted to talk about, you said Bobby Portis. Why? Energy.
I mean, I thought he just had the crowd into the game, Isaiah. Numbers won't jump out at you, but I just think for him, his mobility as a big, it fits this series. Bobby had that look where he came out and played. He got the steal, attacking the rim. He was mic'd up. He was yelling. He was screaming. And I just like the way he played, because he's one of those guys, he's knocking down the three, but he likes to play physical on both ends. And then also he can move his feet. He can switch out on some guards and not play them the entire 24-second shot clock, but maybe 5 or 6 seconds, a couple dribbles. And that's what I like about Bobby Portis. When you have a guy that's bringing that type of energy, it's contagious and everybody gets going.
Who then can be or should be that guy for the Hawks as this series shifts back to Atlanta?
Well, you got to find a way now to free up Trae and get him back in the middle of the floor. What Milwaukee was successful at doing now defensively is they took him out of the middle of the floor and they took Capella out of the middle of the floor. So the lob, penetration that we saw and that we were used to seeing Trae and Capella execute, they wasn't able to do that tonight because the middle was closed down. So what they got to do now, Atlanta, is they got to find some way to move Trae around, get him moving off of baseline screens, then he can catch the basketball, penetrate, get into the middle of the floor. But if you're just having him come down now and try to get into the middle of the floor. They've cut that off successfully tonight. Will they be able to do that in Atlanta? We'll see.
Do you agree that it starts and finishes with Trae Young in this series?
It does, and I think he also needs some help. I think John Collins can be that energy guy for them. I think also, unfortunately, Bogdanovich is struggling with that knee, Isaiah, because he's the one guy I think, Kristen, that can handle the basketball, make some plays for himself, also be able to handle and get the basketball to Trae if he ran off screen. So maybe it's Cam Reddish, maybe it's Chris Dunn. I'm not sure, but they got to find somebody else that can break down the defense just to take the load off Trae, because right now they are loading up on Trae. Drew Holiday's putting pressure. Lopez is not in drop. He was up a little bit, and I think they're bringing the guy on the opposite side all the way over and daring him to make that skip pass all the way over. So they're shrinking the court on the Hawks and Trae Young.
And again, Kristen Smitty, I know this from being a small guy. When the big guys, when they start huffing and puffing and moving around out on the floor and they extend their arms, you know, it normally when I can beat you in one dribble, but when Lopez and those guys put those arms out and they long, okay, now I got to take 2 to 3 dribbles going east to west. But when you got your arms down and I can go north or south off of one dribble, that's easy. But when they spread out and I got to take them extra dribbles, that is difficult for me.
Right, well, because they're not only limiting his options, they're limiting his vision of the court as well, which is one of the things that makes Trae as successful as he is.
And then when they put their arms up, okay, those passes aren't as, you know, those passes are up in the air. Therefore, the defense can help him recover. Can't make just, you know, bullet passes. And by the way, sometimes when they would come down, they would just like, you know, hit you.
That was louder for us than it may have come across on the screen. But for those of you who are joining us for our post-game coverage, let's go ahead and get to the highlights, shall we? The Eastern Conference
scoreboard, feeling a little sorry for themselves, lost their intensity, lost their energy, lost their effort.
The Bucks, a 34-point margin of victory, tied for their 4th largest in franchise playoff history. 125-91 the final score. And of course, NBA Twitter, always ablaze.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, it is finally over. Oh, yeah. The Bucks, when they heard people saying Hawks in 5. Right?
I will say, if you're an Atlanta Hawks fan, you came in and got one.
You've got to feel good.
Feel good
About where the series is.
Got one. And you want to be greedy and get 2, but that's hard to do. But coming and get 1, still pressure on the Milwaukee Bucks right now.
Let's go ahead and listen in to Nate McMillan. Coach is addressing the media now.
Room before taking questions in the Zoom room.
You just raise a hand?
Yes, we'll start with Sarah Spencer.
Hey Nate, just what do you tell the guys after this loss? I mean, obviously y'all have been in the position of winning game 1 and then driving game 2 on the road a couple times now.
Well, you know, again, anytime you can go 500 on the road, that's a good thing, especially in the playoffs. You know, we had an opportunity to get 2. We got 1, so we're happy with that. But there's another level that we have to get to where we are right now, you know, up to the finals. And they showed us that there's another level that we have to get to play at in order to win games and events.
What do you guys need to do to get at that, to get to that level?
You're going to have to play harder. We're going to have to play harder. You know, that intensity that they came out with, it wasn't a surprise to us. But they showed that there's another level that we have to get to. And they totally just dominated the entire game.
Next question, Royce.
Hey, Coach, how did you see them defend pick and roll Trae differently tonight, and how do you guys kind of try to counter adjust to that in game 3?
Well, I think they just picked up the pressure, the intensity. They played with more sense of urgency. I didn't think Drew did anything other than stay focused on Trae, containing the ball, you know, just being right there. We got to do a better job of screening when you have that type of pressure on the ball. So they picked up their intensity, their pressure on the ball, everywhere. They just brought that to the floor, picking us up full court and disrupting the rhythm of the offense with the pressure.
All right, Chris?
This was Cam's first appearance in quite some time. Where do you see out of him tonight?
Basically, we was looking for an opportunity to get him some minutes, and he hasn't played in 4 months. So it's just you want to just get him out there. That's the first 5-on-5 he's seen, since leaving the floor. So really to just get him some minutes out on the floor.
Where did you think of the team's ability to control the ball regarding the turnovers tonight?
Offensively, we were not good. I thought their pressure bothered us. They were 20 points in fast 27 fast break points. It was just really turnover after turnover. We never really got into a rhythm or was able to establish ourselves on the offensive end of the floor. Good job of them pressuring the ball, pressuring the catch. Active hands. They turned it up. I expected them to respond with this type of intensity, and they did. And we just was caught on our heels. And they showed us that there's another level that we have to get to if we're going to have success.
Okay, Sarah, you had another question?
I was going to ask about Cam, so you're good.
All right. Jelani, if you don't mind taking over.
All right, we will start via Zoom with Jeff Schultz.
Yeah, you referenced the turnovers. Was that a matter of coming out flat? What was lack of focus? What was it?
Not executing. I don't think it was a matter of coming out flat. We didn't handle their pressure that they came out with. We knew that they would come out with more pressure and playing with a sense of urgency. Getting into the ball. We just did not execute. 20 turnovers tonight. We really never got a rhythm offensively, never was able to establish ourselves on either end of the floor.
And following that up, I think Trae finished with maybe 9 turnovers. I know he had 8, I think, in the first half. Was he just a part of that, or was he sort of behind the curve in that area? Or?
Yeah, he was a part of that. We all was a part of that. Again, 20 turnovers. They turned up their pressure, and we did not handle that pressure well.
Steve Hummer.
And looking at that first half and how well the Bucks shot in their offensive efficiency, how much was that on them and how much was on your defense? Do you know?
I think it was a little bit of both. We felt that we needed to be better defensively containing the ball. Even in the first game, they had some open looks that they normally knock down those shots. Tonight, I thought our closeouts were a little too short, and they were getting some of the same shots, and they were knocking them down tonight from the perimeter. This is a really good team as far as shooting the 3-ball. And they had that going tonight. So I think it was a little bit of both. Defensively, we weren't able to get enough pressure. Our closeouts were short. They beat us to the offensive rebound. So they won the hustle game. Just totally dominated this game tonight.
And can I ask you, after getting kind of blitzed in a half like that, what do you tell the team at halftime? And what do you look for in the second half? And did you find anything that you were looking for? No,
we didn't. And, what you tell your team is you go out and you try to win that third quarter. You've had bad halves before. And, the start of the third quarter, you want to try to get a rhythm. And you just flushed that first half. And we just was never able to get a rhythm tonight. They pretty much controlled the game from start to finish.
McLean Baxley.
Do you think there were times tonight that Trae was trying to do a little bit too much, coming off a 48, historic night on Sunday night, and do you think he was trying to, kind of dictate things a little too much there in the first half?
I think they did what they needed to do. They came out with intensity, a lot of pressure. We didn't execute as a group. that you have nights like that, and this is something that we just move on. We did a good job of getting one game, and now we try to go home and defend home court.
Davide.
Hey, Coach, you guys probably played your worst game in the playoffs, but as you say, you went to Milwaukee and win one game. What do you focus on your message to the team?
Well, again, we know we're better than this, and the message to the team is we got to be able to take that next step, raise our level of play. That sense of urgency that we've been talking about. That team showed us that they are a really good team, and there's another level that we have to get to have success against them.
The Eastern Conference Finals are tied at a game apiece. Coach Mike Budenholzer is at the podium.
Sure, it's not always 1-1, but first half, 33 points on turnovers and offensive rebounds. He is led by 32 at the break. Probably not that simple, but what was the emphasis, I guess, on creating those turnovers, pushing the fast break, and crashing the offensive plays?
Yeah, we talk about being active and being competitive and being there for each other, and good things can happen. We don't talk about turnovers per se, to be honest with you. We talk about being solid, being active, having hands, and sometimes that is like when you're really active and you're really good defensively, then turnovers sometimes are just naturally happen. The competitiveness on the offensive boards, And I think to run off our stops, to run off our rebounds, is important for us. But it's not anything different, or we talked about it. This is what we have to do. We just wanted to play better, compete harder.
Along those lines, was that Drew maybe noticing that Trae may take a little longer on his follow through and running out and maybe getting some of those fast breaks, or was that something that you guys saw in film and thought you could take advantage of?
No, I think that, you contest threes, and if you take care of the board, if you get a good contest, sometimes you can get a jump start on anybody, no matter who the three-point shooter is, no matter who the defender is, and you got to take care of the boards before you can run. So I thought the guys did a good job of rebounding and having vision up the court. You got to find some easy ones, and tonight they were able to do that in transition.
Just what do you think of Brooks' ability to affect the game more? I know he came up a little bit in the drop. He was playing pass lanes a little bit more. Just what did you see from him that made it more typical than Trae?
Yeah, he's just, I think active, and he's got such a good feel and good read, in the pick and roll defense, and he was at his best, and that's what we need from Brook, and he just got great timing, great understanding of spacing, defensive spacing. He was just what we've seen a lot of nights, and like I said, we need that going forward.
I don't know exactly what you call it, but what do you think of his ability to juke or stunt or whatever you might want to call where he plays in between?
We just call it Brook, so yeah, no, he's, I think, try and stay out of his way, just turn him loose, let him be himself, and that's when he's at his best.
And then Drew had talked about being more physical, making it tougher. What do you think of his ability defensively to do that to Trae?
Yeah, no, I think having him at the point of the defense, having him, the guy that's got the bulk of, putting the front of our defense and, putting pressure on the ball, letting them feel us and still keep them in front, and then be able to rebound, as a point guard and do things there. So, he's unique, and, we need more from him the same.
Y'all had a game 2 in the last series where you lost big and then turned it right around and won game 3. With the veteran team you have, it's going to be easy for them to kind of put this in the rearview mirror going into game 3 and not have any kind of false security based on it.
Yeah, I think it's just we got to have the right mindset. Going on the road, we got to win on the road, but you just got to. You got to find those competitive moments. You got to dig deep, stay together. It's good. The road can be good for you. It's certainly a challenge, but this group's won on the road, and that's what we need to do.
Throughout game 1, how many things did you feel like you needed to fix?
I just think like our activity, at times we just weren't as active as we needed to be. And so that's kind of an all-encompassing, word or concept and mentality. And, and so I think we had good stretches in the second half. I think the boards were a problem in game one. And, I think that would be the other thing that stood out. We got to continue to take care of the defensive boards if we want to do anything.
But then, okay, so you're up by as many as 41 tonight, huge night. So does that mean whatever you thought you had to fix from game one that you got it fixed?
We're coaches. We'll find more stuff that we can work on and can fix or get better is the word we use a lot, we talk about. So, we'll look at the film and, you learn from things where you're not as good and you learn from things where you do well. We got to do both.
Trae Young kind of lived in the paint the first game, whether it was the voters or finding his teammates. But today it was 9 turnovers and he had that success. What did you all want to do differently to kind of disrupt him from what he was doing in game one?
Just be more active. Yeah, we needed everybody to be more active, and the guys, they were great. And there's a lot of length and athleticism, but we got to continue to maintain that kind of defensive effort. You got to be able to do a little bit of everything. You got to be active. You got to get to shooters. You got to rebound. That's what it takes to play a good team like Atlanta.
And after game one, you.
What? Okay.
Oh my God.
Y'all gotta show me these tweets before I have to respond on live television. That's just mean.
That's pretty good.
And now I have to take the laugh out of my voice and tell you that Trae Young is addressing the media.
Is that Trae?
I didn't say it.
Not that shimmying.
Turnovers for you guys tonight, and is that one of the biggest things that got y'all out of sorts in that first half?
Yeah, and that's all on me. I gotta be better at taking care of the ball and just doing a better job of just at least getting us a shot. And 9 turnovers is way too much, and I gotta do better, and I will be better next game. So definitely a big reason.
Just kind of what's the mindset of the team now, getting to go back home? Obviously, y'all been one-on-one in pretty much every series so far.
Yeah. No, it's exciting being able to go back home. We wanted to steal one on the road. We did that, and so now to go home, play in front of our fans. In the Eastern Conference Finals, it's going to be loud. It's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to just going out there, having fun, and playing in front of all our Atlanta fans.
Chris,
what do you feel like Milwaukee did differently tonight in regards to defending you?
They didn't do nothing too much different. They just played more aggressive. It was just more aggressive, and Scott and them allowed more to go tonight. So just got to be better and just be able to respond a lot better.
Did it feel like one of those nights where it just wasn't the team's night and it was just going to be one of those nights where you guys get blown out?
For sure. Especially as the game continued, we knew how desperate they needed this one. So as the game went on, it felt like they were hitting everything, and we couldn't get a shot to drop, and it was just one of those nights. And sometimes it happens like that. It sucks it happened tonight, but we got to be able to bounce back.
Bryce.
Hey Trae, Nate talked a little bit about how it felt like Milwaukee showed you guys that there was another level. But as you kind of turn this game to game 3, what did you feel like that you could do differently, maybe in the way that you attack them, whether it was the aggressiveness or?
Yeah, it's really just that they were just more aggressive. They didn't really change up too much of their defensive scheme. They were more in on their rollers, so the perimeter is more open, and I just got to make better reads. And I take complete responsibility for what happened tonight. Taking care of the ball is something I got to be better at, and I will be better at it. So it's really just they just upped their physicality tonight, and we got to do the same. One
other thing, it did look like they were a lot more aggressive with you, but you only drew 1 foul tonight, which is like the fewest you've drawn all season. I'm not asking you to say anything about the officials, but what was it that they were doing to be able to keep away from fouling you while still playing you aggressively?
Oh, a lot of it's more about how the refs are going to call it that night. It's just how they're gonna let them be aggressive, and they're going to let them be aggressive, and they're not. And they're going to call it the way it's supposed to be. Then it would be different, but sometimes it's called that way, and when they're aggressive and they don't call it, that night tonight happens.
Steve with AP.
How soon in the game could you figure out they were going to be a lot more aggressive than they've been the other night? Was it apparent right from the start, or what kind of sense they were going to get a little different in that regard?
I don't know. I mean, they were just the beginning of the game. It was just like that. So I don't know how to really answer that question. It was just kind of how the game went, how the flow, the first quarter, first half went, and it's kind of happened like that.
Back to Sarah.
Trey, just how good was it to see Cam get some minutes out there?
Yeah.
Obviously the first time he's played in forever.
Yeah, I think that was, to be honest, our only positive thing tonight. Getting to see Cam back and getting to see him on the court was awesome. And he played great. He was aggressive. So that was probably one of, if our only, bright spot tonight.
All right, Jelani, take it away.
Okay, on the Zoom side, we will begin with Jeff Schultz.
Trey, I'm just wondering, it's pretty rare for you to be able to, or for you to be sitting on the bench for the whole fourth quarter watching the game. What's going through your mind during that period? Are you trying to figure out what happened? Are you thinking about the next game? Are you just trying to relax? What's going through your mind then?
There's a lot of things. I'm just trying to figure out how it got to that point, what I can do better for the next game, and just already thinking about getting back home to Atlanta and playing in front of everybody. Just going out and having fun. So I'm really just excited that we get to go home and bring a conference finals energy type atmosphere back to the ATL.
Nathan Addison.
Hey, what's going on, Trey? What's the difference in the physicality that you've adjusted to in this series compared to the previous ones against the Knicks and the Sixers?
I mean, every series has been physical. I mean, the Knicks and the Sixers are two of the top 3 defenses in the league. Sixers had 3 all defensive players on their team. I've seen physicality from defenders all playoffs, and I mean nothing new. So I just got to be able to respond and be better next game.
Raphael Haynes from the 3-point conversion.
Hey, Trey, after a game like this, what is the morale in the locker room, especially knowing the fact that they keep saying that you all stole one, so you pretty much accomplished what you wanted. So what is the morale after a game like this?
I mean, just understanding we get to go home and we got a chance to bounce back. I mean, all we hope for is a chance to bounce back, and we get one, and we just got to be ready.
Back to Chris.
When you have a game like this one, what goes through your head to kind of erase this and act like it didn't happen?
Yeah, I mean, you can't erase it. I mean, you got to learn from it. I mean, every game, every loss is a learning experience, and it's an opportunity for you to learn. And tonight I can learn a lot. I can learn how to be better and taking care of the ball. And if I know we get a shot up, we got some guys who can make shots. So I just got to do a better job of taking care of the ball in this game.
Last 2 from Davide and then Maria.
Hey, Trey, obviously this was probably the worst game that your team had in this playoffs. How did you turn page and look forward? What do you focus on from now on till Sunday?
Really, you just gotta watch film. I mean, as soon as you get on the plane, just as soon as you get back, really just watch film, see what we could have got better at, and make the right adjustments, and just be ready for Sunday.
Final question from Maria.
Hi, Trey. Despite the loss, how would you describe your team's collective effort throughout these 2 games against the Bucks? And how would you also describe the mentality that you guys have to step up and get ready, in this case, for Game 3?
Yeah, I mean, what was the first question? I'm sorry.
Oh, about your team's collective effort throughout this series.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we've been playing hard. We got guys that are banged up, and I mean, when Bogey's out there banged up, playing his heart out, playing hard, just shots just ain't going in for him right now. And I mean, we just got to find a way to dig deep and keep fighting. And we've been fighting all series, these first 2 games, and tonight just wasn't our night. And sometimes it's like that. And we got to figure out a way to bounce back, and we will.
Thank you, Trey.
Another tweet, this one from ESPN Stats and Information. Trae Young, 7 assists, and he's at the podium now.
Just kind of what did it mean for you tonight to have that pairing going with Brooke? It felt like Brooke was just kind of everywhere there in that first half. Just what did you see from him tonight? I know a number of times you told me, man, like he's underrated and people don't realize, but just what did you see from him tonight?
Came through big. Came through big in times when we had momentum and it kind of seemed like maybe they scored a point or two, but he came through with big blocks, protecting my back. Trey's a great young player in this league, and he's hard to guard. So me getting beat, Brooke is always there to protect my back and everybody's back. So he did a great job, and then he shot the ball well tonight, rebounded well. That was kind of a point of emphasis for us, and he had a great game.
Just what did you think from your perspective of what you're able to do better against Trae tonight?
I think just mix it up, make it difficult for him, not get too many easy looks. Last game he was living in the paint, had a lot of floaters. Those were pretty much layups for him, so we didn't really want that to get him started early. And then I don't think he went to the free throw line much tonight, which is also pretty big for us.
For you, just what did you see on that leak out? I know he holds his follow through when he ends up taking those from deep. Is that something you and the coaching staff talk about, or was that just something that you said, hey guys, like we can get that if I go?
Pretty much we can get it. First we have to secure the rebound, so that's probably up to the bigs here to grab that. But at that point, Trae is holding his follow through, and those misses, especially long shots, sometimes they can be long. So I can't leak out every time, but a couple of those we made some good plays.
Yeah, I guess, for lack of a better word, it sounded like you were just annoyed, I guess, the post game the other day at practice with just how it went in game 1. Was that kind of the feel to a degree? Because when you talk about like rebounding and defensive effort, some of those things, it feels like a controllable on your guys' part. Was I reading that right? That maybe after that first game, no disrespect to Atlanta, but it was like you guys maybe felt you left some stuff out there.
We did. Yeah. We definitely felt like there were things that we could have done better. Obviously, going back and looking at film, there were a lot of mistakes that could have been corrected, or like you said, were in our control. So that was something that we felt like was a key point of emphasis, especially for this game. And again, we know what kind of team they are. They play fast. They have a lot of weapons. But at the same time, if they're missing, there's going to be long rebounds. John Collins and Capella out there rebounding gave them a boost, and we felt like we take care of that. We have a pretty good chance of winning.
So far, you go.
Questions. The first one is, do you feel like you have to be a scorer in this series?
Yeah. I think that, especially playing with Giannis, him setting the screen and roll, they worry about him so much. So kind of when I get downhill, I have to make a decision. And for the most part, they're always going to bail back to Giannis because of how effective he is in the paint. So I do feel like I have to score.
And then I don't know if you've been asked this on an off day since it came out, but committing to Team USA like you did in the middle of this intense playoff run, and you might make the finals and that could go on. Like, how hard of a decision was that for you, and was it hard to have to move your focus, at least for a minute, away from the playoffs to think about that?
I don't think I had to move my focus. I think it's an honor to play for your country, especially an opportunity like this to be able to go out there and have USA on your chest. Also, my wife has 2 gold medals. I've experienced it from a fan standpoint, and I thought it'd be cool to experience it from actually playing. But I think I'm always focused on this immediate, what's happening right now has been my main focus, and it's going to continue to be that. And if we end up going to the finals or whatever happens, up until that point, this is what matters.
Jeff Philgett? Drew, I know you mentioned or addressed your defense against Trae, but how was the team defense different tonight compared to game 1?
It was great. It was a group effort. I think we all tried to help each other. We tried to kind of clog up the paint as well as take away threes. And then on top of that, multiple rebounds. 2 guys on Capella, fighting Collins, really just being able to find bodies and hit them and kind of space them out and go from there. But defensively, I think we did a very good job of playing for each other, which, again, with a team with so many shooters and scorers, that's going to be huge.
Blake Andrews.
Hey, Drew, after last game, you were talking about physicality and how you thought you could potentially be more physical with Trae, but it's also a balance defensively because he is a smaller guard. Can you just assess how that was for you tonight and maybe what was different there specifically with the physicality?
Yeah, I think I played smarter tonight. I played smarter than I did last game. There are times where I need him to, or I need to be physical with him, and there's other times where I want him to think I'm gonna be physical and I'm gonna go under a screen, or I know he does the thing where if you come off and he jumps back into you, just certain things like that, kind of playing that game. But I think I was definitely smarter tonight, smarter than how I played in the first game.
All right, thanks, Drew.
Thank you.
The assist of the night is presented by State Farm. This one, guys, is from Chris Middleton to Brooke Lopez.
I like that left-hand dunk.
Nice.
He smashed that one. Now, that's where he should be in the lane. But he's knocking down the threes too tonight, Smith.
Yeah, but he's pretty big.
Middleton had 8
big.
assists in this one. Brooke Lopez added 16 for the Bucks. Here he is.
It's one of those not on the stat sheet type of things, but I felt that it looked like he set an early tone that matched what you guys maybe wanted to do with some of the offensive boards, some of the turnovers. Can you speak a little bit about his impact early in this game?
Yeah, I mean, that's how he's been changing things since he got here. Yeah, he did such a great job of that tonight. And he really, I think, just gave us energy from the get-go, and it just kept going. Everyone fed off that, and we rode it for a full 48 minutes.
I'm guessing that's a lot what Bud meant earlier with activity, right? And I guess when you're watching that, is it just hands? Is it anticipating passing lanes? Like what do you think PJ was maybe seeing early, or you guys were seeing early?
Yeah, just making them a little less comfortable. Getting them out of their comfort zone, being in passing lanes, like you said, driving lanes, having hands up. All of us communicating, talking with one another, and kind of being on a string and having that connection, and just being a bit more of the aggressor, both on offense and on defense.
Martin?
At the beginning of the second half, there was a shot clock violation for Trae Young, and you were mainly guarding him alone on that one. Can you take me through being out kind of on an island on your own trying to guard him?
I just wanted to make things difficult for him. I tried to, have hands like you said, and knowing that I had 4 guys behind me is just so big. So we're all out there just trying to make things as difficult as possible, as tough as possible for their team.
Eric?
Hey, Brooke.
Yeah.
For you, Bud had talked about how what you do when you're stunting, juking, whatever you want to call it, is just Brooke. Like, there's not a name for you that you guys have for it. It's just letting you be you. How freeing was that tonight, and just how good did it feel to get the chance to be more aggressive and maybe play passing lane or?
Obviously game 1 gave us. They played really well, and it kind of gave us a feel for what they were going to do in person. But again, I just have to continue saying it just helped. It helped knowing that the help was back there, and that was something that we went through and shoot around and went through and film. Just knowing that the V-back or whoever's going to be there with Capella or Collins, and that, frees up myself or Bobby or whoever, in the pick and roll to be a bit more aggressive, be up and mess with whoever's coming down trying to make a play.
Do you find it fun? Like that that game, like that
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's all about activity, and that's definitely a point in the game where I can try to have an impact, be someone who can make a difference in the game, and I definitely enjoy that.
The help guys, I know you guys brought the help a little bit higher in that dribble kind of zone for Trey. What kind of impact do you feel like that had in making him feel less comfortable?
It's huge, he just sees more bodies, sees more hands, and he's not getting downhill like he did in game one, where he's really in his comfort zone. He can get to his floater, which is so similar to his lob, and see guys on the perimeter as well. It's night and day.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, guys.
Chris Middleton finished with 15, 7, and 8. Here he is.
For you, tonight you were 2 of 7 from 3, 6 of 13 overall, and you shot last game. Do you feel like you're working through something right now offensively with the ball in your hands?
No. Simple as that, no. Gonna make some, gonna miss some. Sometimes more than the others at some nights. But just keep playing my game. Continue to trust it, whether it's the shot, whether it's the pass, whether it's the drive.
Steve, Trey was saying just now that he thought y'all were wasn't necessarily a schematic change, but y'all were just a lot more aggressive on defense tonight. How much of an emphasis was that, and how did you feel that kind of paid off? Do you feel you were a lot more aggressive?
Yeah, that was a huge key from game 1 to game 2. Game 1, they were able to get whatever they want on the court. Trey was getting in the paint, floaters, lobs, and then getting everybody else involved. So tonight we wanted to set the tone, just make sure they weren't going to be comfortable. We wanted to be physical with them, do it without fouling the course. That was just the main message tonight. It's just the aggressiveness that we didn't have from game 1 needs to be here game 2.
Eric?
For you, have you gotten a chance to go against Brooke when he does when he's in the drop, like in a practice or a scrimmage, and he's maybe coming at you, maybe dropping back? Have you gotten a chance to go against that?
Yeah, for sure. I hate it. People don't realize how massive that guy is. I mean, he's a 7-footer, but you feel him around when he's around the rim on the court, even when he's on the perimeter sometimes. I mean, I don't think people realize how big he is, how athletic he is, how much ground he can cover, and he's athletic. So that's why I love it when he's on our side during games and not in practice and whatnot.
With him doing so much, how did it kind of feel for you guys to be able to help him? He said, you guys in the driving lane, helped out. What is kind of your mindset in being able to help him?
We told him we want him to be aggressive, so when him being aggressive, we have to have his back. We have to try to make life as easy as it can for him because his job is hard. He's got to cover so many mistakes. He's got to be able to guard the pick and roll, and then somebody drives, he's got to have our back. So at the same time, we got to have his, and knowing that, we maybe show a crowd a little bit more, stun at the ball a little bit more also. It makes his job a lot easier to retreat and get back to the rim to his normal spot.
Forgive me, I don't know exactly where you were on the floor, but did you get a chance to see Giannis' spin move with the
Yeah, I was up top. I ain't never seen that from him, even in the one-on-one days that we play. He saved it for the right time. That's a hell of a move. It's got to be top 10 of all time.
Jimmo, and then we'll go to Monica.
Chris, just from a shooter's perspective, I know you can't speak for Bryn, Pat, or Bobby, but when the shots finally go in, right? I mean, those guys have had some struggles here. What does that mean in that moment, and then now even spin it forward the next time they're out there? Because it's been a bit for those guys.
No, it definitely feels good. When you see 1 or 2 go in, it gives you that confidence to fire the next one without really hesitating and thinking. But we definitely gonna need those guys. They're both great shooters. They're both great players. The more they hit shots, the more they take shots, it's gonna open things up for everybody else. So we need them to stay aggressive.
Mike says, or Bud said that you guys don't really talk about turnovers or forcing turnovers. It's just sort of a result of things. But tonight, I mean, there was over a dozen in the first half that led to 20-plus points. So did you guys notice something going in? They're like, we can take advantage of this, or was it just seeing him being more active?
No, it wasn't, talking point to create more turnovers. Just we wanted to put pressure on them, be aggressive. Those end up being turnovers, getting steals, getting out in the passing lanes. making them make bad decisions with the ball. Basically, that's what we were trying to do, just being aggressive with our pressure.
Joe Barton.
I asked Drew the same thing, but I know for you it's a little different because you were on the China team in 19. But committing to Team USA while you're still in the playoffs and you very well could end up in the finals, how hard was that for you to have to think about something like that and committing to something like that while you were also in the middle of something so serious like a playoff run?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like you said, we're in the middle of a championship run. But to, take a second to think about something outside of this season, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little tough to think about it, but it was an easy decision for me to go ahead and commit. Everybody wants to be an Olympian, everybody wants a chance to win a gold medal. So far as the choice, it was easy, but trying to distract myself from that was a little bit challenging, but to get refocused and focus on the task at hand right now is the most important thing I need to do.
Blake Andrews.
As Drew said, he felt like overall he just played smarter tonight when he was defending Trae. I'm wondering, when he's balancing being physical but playing smart, how does that kind of set the tone for the rest of the team's defense and elevate you all?
It gives us the confidence to do the same. We see him working hard. We see him pressuring Trae Young, who's so good at drawing fouls and whatnot. It just gives us the confidence to go ahead and do the same. Not say he's going to put in all this hard work and it's going to be easy for somebody else. We see him pressuring, so it tells everybody else we have to be up with him. We have to be there talking for him. We have to have his back.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris Middleton, pass to you.
Smitty! Congratulations.
And Gary Payton to a tie for 51st all-time in playoff three-pointers. Playoff Central Live continues after the break with Giannis Antetokounmpo taking the podium. Stay with us on NBA TV. He's addressing the media now.
You're spinning layup. Can you walk me through that play? And did you know how you were going to finish? Or I guess when did you know how you were going to finish it?
I decided mid-air.
Recording in progress.
So yeah, I was going to my usually move, try to get the basket, but at first I wanted to dunk the ball, but I saw Capella Kami, one of the best shot blockers in the league, so I decided to avoid him mid-air. So yeah, that was it.
Joe Barton.
Giannis, I don't know if you caught this, but your the free throw stuff was again a topic of discussion today. And to me, your friend Eric here disagrees, but I thought you were quicker tonight at the foul line. Did you make a conscious effort to try to go quicker?
No. It was usually I take 8 to 9 seconds. It's always borderline, 10 seconds. And when my coaching staff told me to speed it up, I know that maybe I'm around 10. So sometimes the referee talks to me and tell me you gotta speed it up. So then I make an effort to maybe take it a second or 2 seconds faster. But my mindset going to this game was still do my routine, get as many dribbles as I can, get my breath, and just shoot my shot.
Bartender. What was that? After game one, you seem so calm in the post game. I've seen other players where if they dropped game one at home, they'd be a little bit more frustrated. But you would kind of go to game two, they played a good game, and then you all come out and play well tonight. How much of that attitude from you and other players dictated how well you played today?
Obviously, I was calm. It wasn't the end of the world, but if we had lost today, I'd be a little bit more nervous. But I trust my teammates, trust what our habits. I think everybody's on the same page. We know what we got to do, and everybody knew that we got to come in here and get this game. So that's what we did from the first possession of the game. But we took it each possession at a time. So we were trying to get one stop at a time and try to make as many stops as we can possible for the entire game, and that worked in our favor. But at the end of the day, this day, guys, fans, there's got to be some urgency. But you still have to enjoy the fact that we're here, you know, because we worked extremely hard to be in the last 4 teams standing. But you know, not going on the road, obviously there's going to be some urgency. We're going to try to play good games, good basketball, and we're going to try to have some fun also.
I think 20 fast break points in the first half. I know Drew leaking out at times if the bigs got a rebound. He said, I don't know if that was an emphasis, but how important was it to get out and get running in this game?
Very important, very important. They crash the board, you know, and they play fast too. And they shoot a lot of long threes, so the rebounds are always long. So you have a lot of opportunities that you can run. And we want to play fast. We want to play fast but smart at the same time. And we were able to do that tonight.
Hey, Giannis. I don't know that I've seen you throw the deep ball to Drew before. What gave you the confidence to throw it tonight?
Yeah, he was wide open. He was wide open. And where I had the ball, it was easier to throw. Usually, you know, my first steps, it's like a dribble, but where I had it, it was easier to deliver it to him.
For you and Brooke are different people, right?
Yeah.
But when you see him play the drop and do the jukes or the stunts or whatever you want to call it, where he's kind of playing
Unbelievable. He was unbelievable tonight. A lot of people don't give him credit, but he was unbelievable, especially in the first half. And he was playing on the drop, and he was like back and forth, and he was going for the blocks and all that. He was protecting the rim. He was unbelievable. We need him to do this, to keep doing this.
I don't even know if it's something you could pick up. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, have you, like, as you watch him, have you seen
different bodies, different skill set? But in our game plan, I'm a switch, so I'm not in the drop. So usually when I'm in the drop, it's harder for me. It's way harder for me. Brooks like 7-1, but in this series, moving forward, I don't know what the game plan is going to be, but tonight the game plan was a switch for me, so I just switched up and tried to keep guys in front, so I wasn't in that position.
For you, just watching Drew defend as well, I mean, obviously he was making it a lot tougher on Trae, but for you guys, we were talking about the help guys being in the dribble lanes a little bit more often. How did you feel like that made an impact on
Oh, definitely. Like, it just crowds the whole space for everybody. And we have to do our job. At the end of the day, Drew is picking up Trae full court, so we got to be behind him. He got to know that there's help behind him. We got to know Brooke, me, PJ, we right behind him, right? So it's the least we can do, you know. So, but I think that really makes a big difference, like being in driving lanes, showing help, and making other guys make the play so he can pass the ball.
Steve, Jeff, and we'll close.
Just the turnovers you already had before, particularly in the first half, was it just more aggressiveness, or how were you able to do so much of a better job of forcing them into mistakes, forcing turnovers, and getting things like that?
We were just trying to keep them in front, make them make a play, and as I said earlier, we were in the passing lanes a lot. We tried to show helps, we tried to show length, just make that place crowded. So when you're active and you're ready, good things happen, and we were able to get some steals.
Jeff, and then we'll go to Erica on Zoom.
Giannis, you just said it's, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's important to try to enjoy this since you're one of 4 teams left. Between the end of Game 1 and the start of Game 2, what was enjoyable for you? How did you enjoy what you needed to do to get ready for Game 2?
For me, like, the way I think about it is that, like, I'm going to be doing this for a long time, you know. So I gotta enjoy each game, and this is my second time being in the Eastern Guys Finals and playing in packed arena, people that love us and support us and cheer for us. It's enjoyable, you know, and also there's enjoying factor when you go on the road and everybody's booing you and everybody's counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, there's you can enjoy that too. So what I try to do is enjoy each moment. You never know when this is going to be taken away from you. You can never take that for granted. And as I said, I'm going to be doing this for a long time. So if I don't enjoy it, it's going to be tough for me.
Andrews.
Giannis, I have two for you. First, you were talking about the fact that you felt like you were smarter on defense, defending great. And I'm wondering what it means to you to have a teammate who takes his assignment so personally and so seriously to improve from game 1 to game 2.
It's big. He did a great job. He set the tone defensively. When you see your point guard picking up full, now you're behind him. You're ready to go. And man, he did an unbelievable job. He forced him into turnovers. He made it as tough as possible. He made them play deeper into the clock. So when they were coming down, it was 18, 17, 16. So we need that from him. We need him to keep doing that, and he definitely helped the team a lot.
And then just like from you guys, from game 1 to game 2, the Hawks are saying similar things to you guys. We need to make adjustments. We know we can play better. Do you sort of race more and look at what they might do, or do you just look back at what they have done, or do you look at the possibilities of what could change? Does that make sense?
That's for Coach Bud. Obviously we're gonna watch film tomorrow. We're gonna see what we did better from game 1 to game 2, and we gotta keep doing that and do it better to game 3. Hopefully that's in the back of your mind what they might switch, but at the end of the day we gotta focus on ourselves and how can we get better, and put ourselves in a position to win a game. But we gotta keep getting better each game at a time. And from game 1 to game 2 we were better. We're happy about that. Hopefully from game 2 to game 3 we can be better.
All right, thanks, Giannis.
Thank you guys.
Let's take a look at the series schedule. The Eastern Conference Finals continue Sunday on TNT, 8:30 Eastern. Games 3 and 4, that's right. Ooh, that was a good one.
But after this game...
I wish the camera would have been on each of them so that all of you could have seen that.
That's good. The camera was
Before we go, let me ask each of you about each of these teams. Smitty, let you start with the Hawks. If they win Game 3, what will have happened?
I think for them, they're going to have a different game plan of getting Trae Young to basketball. And I think also for him is he's going to have to find some guys to loosen up that defense. But I think he's going to have to work the baseline like Isaiah talked about, maybe coming off screens like Steph Curry and catching with a live dribble. But I think right now, if you look at it, they are locked into Trae. Somebody else is going to have a game just to loosen up the defense of the Milwaukee Bucks.
And if the Bucks win?
Defensively, they're going to have the same type of effort where they've shut down the middle. They closed down the middle on Trae Young tonight. He couldn't play in the middle. They kept him out on the perimeter. And when they keep him out on the perimeter on the side, it's difficult for him to get into the lane. And then offensively, Giannis has to continue to attack, stay in the middle of the floor. And I guess it's as simple as this. With these two teams, whichever team controls the middle of the floor, they're going to have the most success.
You're right. You were dead on before the game and afterward. Proven right. We've also got a little bit of NBA news to get to and to respond to before we go. Shams Charania reporting the Portland Trail Blazers are hiring Clippers assistant Chauncey Billups as
Detroit basketball. Man, I am excited for this. Chauncey has paid his dues, a great basketball mind, and I think with Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, this is going to be a great fit.
What do you think about Chauncey with Dame specifically?
I think he's going to be great. He understands the guard play.
Right.
And not only does he understand the guard play, but he comes from a defensive mindset, a defensive background, which is what the Trailblazers need. They got offense. Now can they become a defensive juggernaut? And I think he has the defensive concepts and understanding of how to teach them how to be a better defensive team.
And well-versed in championship expectations.
Yes. Right. And then I think also Mr. Big Shot and Dame Time.
That's
they
right.
Go together.
Yeah. That.
Got to go together at the
Speaking
game.
of T-shirts, we've got to.
Oh, we got to put that on the T-shirt.
Well, that'll do it for Playoff Central
Put that on
Live.
the T-shirt, Mickey.
Yeah, exactly.